Hi and welcome to Let Love In workshop. It's a pleasure to actually have you here and be able to help you. So what we are going through on the first block, on the first step, is to acknowledge the blockage that separate us or separates you from love. So every day we shape our reality. We shape our life experiences. We are building second after second our future moments. Our future is not something that we are coming to. It is something that we attract to. So we are like standing in the same place and we attract what we want. So the future is not something that is already there and that we are going to meet. It is something that we create every day. When we see future with this perception, our thoughts, our actions, the way we see life, the way we see our experiences changes. Because the future, we have grown with the idea that the future is already there, is already settled, and you have to get there. That is something you always have to be achieving. You always have to be struggling to get to the future, and the future actually doesn't exist because we don't know if we are going to be here in the next few hours. So the future is something we build day by day, and is something we energetically attract to us. So you have the power to actually build whatever you want in your life. And the thing with the law of attraction, the thing with with energy, is that if you think constantly thoughts, if you say words, if you take action that separates you from love, what do you think you're going to attract later? The universe does not separate the negative from the positive. So what you think, what you say, what you feel, the universe receive it and the universe gives you back. So it is very unfair when we say like life throw us things. Life doesn't throw you anything. You attract that. So when we are aware of that and we present ourselves and we are responsible for our life, for whatever happens in our lives, things start to change. In addition of that, if you are aware that it is a higher force, or I call it God, I am a God believer. So if you acknowledge there is a higher force that is not out there, like far away, it is within you. God is within you. That is why if you think something, God can hear you because He is within you. So if you acknowledge this, that you have the power to create the life you want, and also you have divine help for creating what you want, like you are like a bomb. You are like a manifestation bomb. And you actually can manifest whatever you want in your life. So take a little life review and just acknowledge all the situations in your life. And what were you thinking? What is your constant conversation with yourself? And you will see when you do this that your conversation with yourself, what you say every day, what you say to your friends, to your family, to everyone that surrounds you, whatever you tell to yourself is actually creating those situations. Be good or bad, is creating those situations. There's something I just constantly argue with my mom. She is an amazing person, but she constantly say a phrase that I encountered to be fatal. And she always say, like constantly, she repeats over and over again through the day, like, oh, this is so difficult. Oh, how difficult. And she keeps attracting difficult situations. It is amazing how this happened, but the most simple thing gets difficult for her because she keeps telling the same phrase over and over again, and she is she's building that. That is the message, the energy she's sending, and that is what she's receiving back. So it is the change, the miracles that happen when we are aware of our power of manifestation. It is amazing, and with love happens the same. The most natural thing, the most wonderful thing, easiest thing on earth for us is to give and receive love, because we came out of love. We came out of love. Our main purpose here is to give and receive love. We are not here by chance. So when we are born babies and little kids, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she's always spontaneous with love. She says, I love you to everyone. She loves. She just loves every moment. She loves the dogs she saw in the streets, because we came here knowing one thing, and that one thing is love. But it happens that as we grow up, we are bombarded by society, religion, our parents, our grandparents, our surroundings, and we start putting like layers over love and creating these conceptions and these conditions to love that actually build like a huge bridge between us and love, full of obstacles. So the most simple thing in life is to receive and to give love. It is easy, it is natural for us to do that. So the first reference we have of love are our parents. From the mother we learn to receive, and we also learn the concept of home, security, and money. So check out how your mom expressed about security, about money, about family and home, and also about receiving. If she is willing and open to receive, if she manipulates to receive, or if she think she have to earn love from others. And as if you see that, if you are aware of how your mom expressed those qualities, you can see yourself and know that you probably are repeating some of the things your moms do about love, about receiving and giving. So from the dad, we get the perception of protection and validation. So from our dad, if we tend to look for approval. Our dad is like the figure of approval. If you don't receive approval from your dad, you will seek approval from your partners. If you didn't receive protection from your dad, You're going to see that lacking in your relationships if you don't are aware of it. And if that overprotected you, you will look for that in your partner to keep doing the same. So if you didn't receive much love and nurture from your mother, you will tend to motherly treat your partner. You will try to get all his things together. And you are not his mother, you are his partner. So it is important that we don't get into motherly role with our partners, because that can kill the relationship. So when the love of the father is the one lacking, we tend to overprotect our partner and develop manipulation and controlling behaviors, because we are lacking that. And if we don't acknowledge it and we don't heal that, we project that in our partner. So the experiences we live in our childhood and in our adolescent years determine in an important way how we experience love as adults. After my granddad's suicide, I developed a feeling of abandonment, a huge feeling of abandonment. I was so afraid that the people I loved, including a boyfriend I had, leave me unexpectedly. So I actually developed a huge panic of losing someone. So how I experienced love after that was very traumatic, because I was projecting my fear into my partner. So I actually, unfortunately, I attracted a very insecure person, because I was feeling insecure in that moment. I attract a very controlling person, because I was trying to control to not lose anyone. So those qualities I had, like in my shadows, projected like 1,000 times in the other person. It was like overwhelming. So I went into a very toxic relationship in that time, where I was manipulated and even threatened. And I accepted a lot of things I shouldn't have accepted, but it was because I was afraid of losing that person. So I will do anything to keep the relationship going, even if it was like exhausting, even if it was like my self-esteem just erased from the face of earth. I suffer very, very much. But it was necessary, because that way I could, see myself. Every person that is in your life is a mirror to you. Everyone that is in your life have something to teach you. There are people like soulmates that stays in our lives forever, or for a long period of time, because with soulmate we have a soul contract. So we actually have a lot to learn, but also a lot to enjoy with them, if we know how to keep no, but to relate with that person. We will talk about that a little later. So when we have toxic behaviors that doesn't serve us, like my fear of abandonment, we just create and attract people and relationships that are harmful for us, that make us feel sad, miserable about ourselves, and even we get very depressed. At that time, I went through a very, very hard time and anxious. More than depressed, I was anxious. I develop an anxious issue from that relationship that I can't even explain to you. It took me a lot of years to step out of anxiousness. So this is the time to take a look to your thoughts. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? And what are your intentions? Because acknowledging that, you are going to discover what is blocking your heart desires. So, as I told you before, we accumulate layers that with time becomes our greatest walls. And we need consciousness and self-love to tear down those behaviors, memories, those beliefs that takes us away from love, that separate us from love. So love is not a privilege. It is what we are. As I told you at the beginning, we came from love. We are love. You are love. And it is the easiest thing, is the most natural thing to do, to love and to be loved. It is us that keep putting blocks between. So, however we interpret the experiences we have during our lives, from fear and from resentment. Fear and resentment are not real. Those are illusions we create to protect ourselves. So if we interpret situations from love with a perception of love, we will learn from them, because everything we go through is a lesson we have to learn. And when we see that lesson with love, and you see like, let me see, what do I have to learn from this, then you can actually move on to the next lesson. Because if you don't do that, you are going to keep repeating the same lesson in different situations. And you say, but this keeps happening to me. Well, you haven't integrated the lesson, so the lesson will keep like coming back to you. So if we see things from love, we will evolve, we will grow spiritually instead of block ourselves and getting stuck. And learning about love, it is a constant. We are always learning. The learning doesn't end. Even when we die, it doesn't end. We are always learning. I learned something from my relationship in the past few weeks. I wasn't feeling good with situation we were going through, we are going through. And I first felt kind of angry and disappointed. I was disappointed, and I was actually asking myself what to do. For 5 years after, I will react like very differently. But now I took the time to see myself and say, okay, what is it? Why am I angry? What I am feeling disappointed? So I actually processes my emotions. I didn't tell anything to my boyfriend, so I just processes my emotions myself. I just meditated what was happening to me. I went through like a roller coaster of feelings, and I was very careful. acknowledging what I was feeling. So when I felt ready, when I knew what was happening to me, I sit down and talk to him. No arguing with him at all. It was in a very loving way. I told him how I felt. I told him I understand everything, but I am going through this right now, and I feel like this right now. And the way he responded actually made me like fall in love more with him. Actually, he did in that moment an act of love that, like, for me was admirable. But he's my soulmate, so I understand that now we see situations in another way, and we can sit actually and talk and listen to each other. And it is not at all something of arguing, of being mad. It is something of understanding. And that was a lesson for me. That was a very, very wonderful, a beautiful lesson for me that I learned with him. And unconditional love. He keeps teaching me about unconditional love, and it is the difference is there, that you can acknowledge unconditional love, because the answer he gave me, it wasn't the answer that I honestly wasn't expecting anything, but it wasn't the answer I would like to have from him. It was better because it helped me grow in that moment as a person, as a couple, and spiritually. So, to be in balance, it's necessary to establish clear intentions about what we want. And those intentions must always come from love, from integrity. Because wanting something that harm others demonstrates an energy of imbalance, and that way you can heal the blockage you have. So to heal the blockage, you must connect with divine love and trust that God provides you with everything you need in perfect timing. When I talked to connect with God, and when I talked about divine love, it is actually to look at yourself. Divine love and God is within us, and if you take care of yourself, you're also taking care of that communication with God. So to heal, we have to become conscious. Sorry. Once conscious, being aware of something, we cannot be indifferent. When something just popped out to the light, we cannot ignore it. We have to take care of it. So everything that comes to light, it's transformed. So that awareness of who we really are, with our lights and our shadows, is what will help us, what will help you to be honest and accept yourself as you are, in order to transform what is not longer useful for you. So we have light, we are light, but we have our shadows. And to actually transform those shadows, you have to accept, to acknowledge they are there. So one shadow for me it was my controlling behavior that time, because I didn't want to lose anyone. So I was like controlling every situation. So I was like feeding my fear. So I wasn't confronting my fear, I was just feeling it. So I was like controlling everything, or trying to control everything. Control is an illusion. You don't control actually other people's life. You just have control over your own. So that was a shadow for me. And it took me a lot of years to actually acknowledge that shadow of control. And when I acknowledge it and I say, oh my God, I am controlling everything, and nothing is going as I wanted, everything was falling apart. So when I just acknowledge that, I could heal my controlling behavior. So to heal, we have to acknowledge that we don't have like good sides and bad sides. The shadow is not a bad thing. The shadow is just a behavior, a thought, a desire that we hide for some reason, that is in our it is like there, you are behaving in, you know you are doing something that is not working for you, but you actually don't know what it is until you sit down with yourself and you see what is going on. And you just take that shadow and just like, it's like you take your cell phone and put the light on, and you just illuminate the shadow, and you say, oh, that is hiding over there. So now that you know, you put the light on the shadow, and now you know what is there. So you cannot, blind yourself. You know now what is there. So the only option you have left is to heal it. So the shadow is only, how I told you, like that thing we haven't brought to our conscious being. However, it is part of you, although you are not recognizing it. And it is generally the reason why we maintain the stagnant energy and develop guilt, develop complex stories that feed our fears and insecurities. We keep building stories for us so we can feed our fears and our insecurities. We take everything from something in the TV to something that someone tells you, and you keep feeding that story, you keep feeding that fear, and you actually make excuses for that. So where you put your eye, you put the bullet. And that is metaphorically, and it is actually when you put your focus on, the energy grows. So if your stories about relationships are negative, then you will continue to have experiences that corroborate that story, that fits that story. So if you feed your perception about love and about relationship with positive things, with joy, with pleasure, with enjoyment, doesn't matter if the relationship ended, but if you, instead of focusing on the bad things, you say, oh, but I enjoy that with him, and that time we went somewhere, or we stay at home, you take out of the experience the positive things. That way you are feeding love, not feeding fear. So what you are attracting about relationships and love will change. So if you keep feeling love, those experiences of light will continue to come to your life. You are not born fragmented, you are born complete. That story about like my half orange is just nonsense. You're not a half orange, you are an entire orange. You're a beautiful orange, like rounded orange, complete. You just need another orange to want to make juice with you together. So honestly, you just need someone who walk the path with you, to walk in the same direction, because you are walking your path and that person is walking his path. The thing is, the desire, the willingness of taking each other's hands and just walk in the same direction. We don't need anyone to complete us because we are complete human beings. You cannot separate your shadow and just stay with the light. You're a whole being. The shadow and the light is like the yin and the yang, and the shadow and the light is within you, and you can get rid of any of them separately. So the faster you learn to integrate all the parts of you, shadow and light, the faster you can connect with your true self. Accept yourself, love yourself, and show the world who you truly are, and attract that person who will love every part of you. So for this, you must be completely honest with yourself. You must remove the mask, leave the concepts dictated by society, by religion, by your parents, by your grandparents, by your surroundings. You have to unlearn so you can learn again. But now you should learn about yourself. What do you believe in? What is love for you? What do you want in a relationship? Do you have limits in a relationship? What are those limits? What is like immoral to you or not accepted by society? For me, it could be perfectly fine. And that is why we have so much guilt, so much shame when we talk and when we want to express our sexuality, our erotism, and our true selves. Because sometimes we have desires that are condemned by society or by religion, or we think we are being like bad because we have that desire. As long as that desire doesn't harm other people, you are perfectly fine. So as clearer you are with what you truly want, you will attract someone aligned with your energy, because this is what happens. You are afraid, you feel guilt or ashamed because, perceptions, religion, society, and you keep hiding your heart desires. And you say, for example, I want to get married at 23 and have 5 kids and have a wonderful house in the countryside. I don't know. It is just an example. But deep in your heart, you don't want to have kids at 23. So you are just trying to fulfill a society, demand. Because in this society where we live on these days, you have to go to college, to go to university, to get like 1,000 diplomas, and to get married at 23, 22, and then to have kids. And when you have the first kid, people start asking, and when are you having the second one? She needs a little brother. So, and society try to, to drown you in what they, in perception that not necessarily are aligned with you. So if you keep trying to satisfy those perceptions, you are separating yourself from love, and you are walking away from yourself. So it is not a surprise that you attract someone that wants what you don't truly want, that want what you superficially want to fulfill for the society, for your family or religion's sake, but not your heart desire. And in the meanwhile, you start to get disappointed from that person, and you start saying, but we don't have anything in common. But when you sit down and match what that person wants, you say, oh, but that was what I was saying I wanted. So as long as you don't be truly honest with yourself, you will keep attracting people that are not aligned with your heart desires. So removing those blockages is the only way you will be able to sincere with yourself and say, what do I want? What is my vision of love, of sex, of home, of stability? Not everyone wants to get married at 23. There are people who don't even want to have children, and who are independent and don't want to be rescued, or they are not waiting to be rescued. There are others who wants to be rescued. So you just have to connect with yourself and be truly honest and say, this is what I want, this is what I desire. So that is getting out of what you have learned throughout your life and giving yourself the opportunity to bring to light what you think, what you feel, and what you want from love and from a relationship. And here comes the moment to think with your heart what you want from love, leaving aside selfishness, possessiveness, and expectations. In general, we can talk about some specific blockage which determine our way of seeing, experiencing, and feeling love. Most of these blocks are based on illusions. We create situations and problems that don't actually exist, simply because we are disconnected from ourselves. So it is not strange that there is a divorce rate so high. It is so high that the divorce rate that in 2015 the divorce rate exceeded the marriages rate. So we are disconnected from divine love, from ourselves, and of course from others. So because we cannot give to others what we don't have, if we are not connected with ourselves, it's going to be impossible that you connect with other person. So if you don't take the time to give yourself what you need, you cannot give the other person the best of you. It is very important to know that if you want love, you have to give love to yourself. You can't expect the other one to give love as you want, because the other person is going to give you what he have to give you. He cannot give you what he doesn't have. So don't expect him to give you something that you want in the way that you want, because love doesn't put expectation or conditions to the other person. So you have to give the time to ask yourself what you need, to give yourself what you need. So that way you don't go through life trying to fill your voids with superficial things and relationship, would leave you feeling more sad and lonely than at the beginning. So on the blockage that prevents us from experiencing love, there is the lack of awareness, the disconnection with our true being. When you don't know yourself, you live your life in autopilot, in automatic. You are vulnerable to manipulation because you adapt to others to please them and to fit in. And therefore you change from one relationship to another, from one job to another, or friendship group to another. It is because you are not present. If you saw the movie or read the book Eat, Pray, Love, you can see how Elizabeth Gilbert characters adapt to the person next to her. She marries someone without knowing who she really wanted and who she really was. And then she felt lost and empty and ended up leaving the relationships. So the same with the boy who plays James Franco. She even went to a dinner with her best friend, and she was dressed like him. So she changed depending on the person she was with, and that is a fatal error. That is a fatal mistake. You have to be yourself. And if you are truly yourself, you are going to attract that person who loves you from who you are, for who you are, and will accept you exactly as you are, so you don't have the necessity to change and to, make yourself a copy of that person. So when you are absent and separated from yourself and you realize you don't know where you are or why you are there, life passes you by and you don't even notice. So unconsciousness or lack of awareness leads you to make one wrong decision after another. It is a domino effect of suffering in your life that you create by yourself. So however, when you are present, you live each moment accordingly with what you really want. You align with the desire of your heart, and every decision you make, every step you take, you do it with the certainty that you are aligned with your heart desire. So the author Karina Velasco says, being conscious implies knowing you in your totality, in light, in shadow, in your qualities and your defects, of which you already remain alert. This opens up a world of possibilities, so you begin to act in life with more harmony and from love. Respond before situation and not only react to them. Later, I will teach you meditations to connect with yourself and with the present moment. So our practice doing those meditations with full awareness of what you do, and practice to do everything that you do in life, even the like small things, small task. Try to do it with completely awareness of what you are doing. That is what we call now mindfulness. And always ask yourself if you are doing what your heart desire, and if you are, going in the direction of love, of what your heart wants. So the most famous and acclaimed blockage that separate us from love is fear. And we cling so much to fear that we even want it. We even love fear. We applaud fear because we are so attached to it. Fear prevents us from enjoying the best in our lives, from living fully, from loving, from feeling joy, love, pleasure, happiness. Fear is the excuse to project or blame your partner for feeling abandonment, for feeling betrayed, for feeling dissatisfied, hurt, deceived, not loved as you expect, and to feel alone or used. That is why fear creates separation. Fear separates us from the person we love and separate us from ourselves. So, sorry. It is part of our, you know, um, animal instinct to protect ourselves. However, feeling fear prevents us from enjoying life. Fear gives you the illusion, the false sensation that you have everything under control, that feeling fear will prevent your partner from leaving you or deceiving you. It creates also the illusion that you will be more prepared for the bad moments because fear builds like a wall and inhibits you from feeling and expressing yourself. But it is just an illusion, because under that shell, all of your feelings are repressed. Your shadows are the main reason for all the reasons for what you keep pushing away love, and you continue to repeating patterns that doesn't work in your relationships anymore. It's because you are afraid, and fear fear just stuck you. So if you are afraid of showing who you truly are, you will continue to attract the wrong people. That's what we were talking later, who gets into your life to teach you to be your true self. That I had an experience with an ex-boyfriend, and I have like small boobs, and he insisted constantly for me to, undergo surgery to have bigger boobs. So at first I consider it, but then I thought, like, what am I thinking about? I am going to undergo surgery and I am happy with my small boobs. So I thought to undergo surgery with all that a surgery implies. I could die in the surgery, that is a risk you take when you undergo surgery. Just to please someone that in the first place doesn't accept me and my body as it is. And if I have died in the surgery, he will continue and move on with his life the same way he did, because we ended up the relationship. So we broke up, so like 14 years ago. But I just had that like illuminate moment that I told myself that am I going to do this for another person that doesn't love me as I am? No way. No way. I was and I am still happy with my small boobs. And if someday I undergo surgery, plastic surgery, I will do it for myself, but not for anybody else. So when I realized that, and I began to actually love and accept my body as it was and as it is, I broke up with that person. And the few relationships I have had after that, it have been with men that accept my body as it is. No one have ever told me to undergo plastic surgery. So, but it is because I accept myself as I am, and I love my body as it is. Love it. And I attract people who actually love my body as it is. The same with my soulmate. That is the relationship I thank God on it. And the same thing is I attracted my soulmate when I actually was ready for it and totally aware of who I am and of what I want. So I know people want to constantly blame the other person, the partner, for what's happening when a relationship complete its cycle, like when you broke up, and it is easy to point the blame on the partner. And I honestly would like to blame my ex-husband for our disastrous relationship. But I am not taking away my responsibility. I am not taking away his responsibility here. But the thing is that if I blame him, how can I learn? How can I learn from all that happened in that relationship? It was crazy. But I learned more than you can imagine in that relationship, from that relationship. So how can I illuminate those parts of myself that needs to be lightened up in order for me to not repeat the same with another person, for me to evolution and to grow as a soul, to grow as a human being, if I keep blaming the other person and I don't see my own responsibility. So it is important to assume our responsibility in every situation. Another thing about fear is that always equals jealousy, control, manipulation. And we do things that are not aligned with our true self in order to keep the relationship going and in order to get what you want selfishly from the relationship. So for a relationship to grow, for you to attract your soulmate, and if you already attracted, for you to build a lifetime relationship with your soulmate, you have to heal jealousy, control, and manipulation. That those behaviors kills relationships. No relationship lasts when you have those like behaviors and you keep going with them. So it is important to acknowledge if you are having behaviors of jealousy, manipulation, and control, and just light them up and heal them. Perception is another blockage that we have and that separate us from love. Our perception creates a reality, and we interpret our reality according to how we perceive things. So we co-create our reality with our thoughts, since our thoughts trigger sensations and feelings that we emit in our energy field. This energy is what we send to the ether, to the universe, God, the spiritual realm, as a message of what we want to create in this material plane. I insist that you are aware of your thoughts, of your words, your action and intentions. So we will move through we already talked about control, so we will move to the exercises. I sent you a workbook, so I ask you to go through this workbook and to write down your fears is the first thing to do, to write down your fears. Be completely honest. You don't have to share that list. Ask yourself openly, what am I afraid of? And you have another column that says how to overcome that fear. So besides every fear you have, you can write down something to help you overcome it. The other exercise we have is to write a list of the things, situations, and people you want to release that no longer serving you. Things, people, and situations that are not serving you for your higher self and for your life purpose. So after you write all of this you want to release, take the list in your hands and say, I now release everything that is holding me back from being my true and higher self. I give this to God, my angels, the universe, and now I make a space for wonderful new things, people, and opportunities to come to my life. So you have to feel it. It is not only saying things, it's to feel things, to feel that you actually want to release those things, that you don't want those things in your life, and that you are letting them go. Then you can break the list and toss it in the garbage, or you can throw it in the toilet, or you can burn it. But make sure that it is safe for you to burn the paper and you are in a safe environment to do that. The important part of this ritual is that you let go from your heart what no longer serves you. So the last exercise of this part of the workshop is actually to write down in your workbook all the things you like about yourself. When you're done writing the things you like about yourself, cross out the word like and replace it with the word love. Read this list every day for 21 days. You can add more qualities, more things that you love about yourself to the list. So, but read it every day for 21 days and repeat everything that you love about yourself. This ritual helps you to connect with yourself, reminds you how wonderful you are, your positive qualities, and will help you to change your internal dialogue for a more positive one. So in addition, recognizing and aligning with the good that is in you, your energy rises and you begin to attract people who sees the best of you and value you as well as you value yourself. So love is actually a natural state in us, as I say at the beginning. We were created out of love by God. We were born by love, and love is what we came here to give and receive. Everything else is just an illusion. If someone doesn't love us, it is nothing personal against us. That person's feelings just changed. And instead of feeling angry or resentment, we must be grateful. Because why do you want to be with someone who doesn't love you? You deserve something better. You deserve love. Truly, unconditional love. So to find love, this is, the first thing we have to do is connect with divine source, to connect with God. All of us have the ability to communicate with God, with angels, archangels, the universe, a higher force. We are constantly receiving help from the divine realm. And when it comes to love, they are more than willing to help us, because giving and receiving love is part of our journey. So acknowledging that we count on a spiritual team to help us connect with unconditional love is to open doors to miracles. Once more, your thoughts play a fundamental role in this, because the divine realm can hear our thoughts, and even more, they can tap into our energy. As a medium, when I can feel a presence near me, it is because they can touch my aura field. Our aura field is our light body, the energy field that emanates from us. So when we are in a constant state of love, of joy, of happiness, our love or of abundance, our energy elevates, and it's easier to communicate with the spiritual realm, so they can help you manifest faster what you truly desire. To connect with your higher self and elevate your energy, you must connect with the love of God, with His infinite love. Because He's the source of unconditional love, He's the one. He wants to help us. He wants to open our eyes, mind, and heart and soul to give and receive love. The first thing you can do to open up to elevate your energy and open up that channel to communicate with God is to clean and heal your chakras. Our chakras are our energy points in our body that regulate how we manage our energy. So imagine that your energy is like water, clear, white, bright water, and the chakras are wheels that turn to move the water and keep it flowing through your body. So when your chakras are blocked or dirty, the wheels get stuck and they stop, turning around, and the water just get also stuck there. So the light of every chakra begin to dimmer, and so are you. Your energy just slow down. And if we are vibrating low energy, it is very difficult to connect with our higher self. When our chakras are balanced, we experience a balance in every aspect of our lives. We give and receive love without expectation. We love and accept ourselves and the others as they are. We have harmony in our relationship, in our finances. We have relationship with our food, with our bodies. We take care of ourselves, and we experience harmonies and peace in every area of our life. We also connect with our truth, and we can speak fearlessly our truth. We accept changes, we flow with life, enjoy our sexuality, are in touch with our emotions, and express them in a healthy way. We are more compassionate, forgiving, loving, creative, fun, nurturing, caring, and we enjoy more the pleasures and beauty of life. I sent to you 7 audios, so you can make those meditations and clear your chakras. You can listen to one meditation a day, so you allow yourself to heal, and also you don't feel exhausted. So those are the things it looks easy to to manifest love in our lives. It is easier because the only thing we have to do is actually to love ourselves. We don't have to chase love. We don't have to run, go, running for love. Love comes to us. We attract our soulmate, that it is the most special romantic relationship we can have in this earth plane. Mistakenly, we have grown up seeing soap operas and princess movies and other relationships that don't give us a good reference about what a soulmate relationship is. It is not the typical fairy tale. The soulmate is someone who arrives into our lives because we have, both of us have to learn from each other major things. But we are already in a conscious level so high that we don't learn like fighting or arguing or blaming, manipulating, controlling. We learn from love. Because when we meet our soulmate, it is because we are in a higher state of consciousness. So love comes to us, relationships comes to us, and you have to forget about your expectation of how a relationship should be, how that person will enter your life. You just have to take care of yourself, to love yourself, and to heal those parts of you that separates you from love. Ask yourself, which behaviors, what was that behavior or those behaviors you had in your relationship, in your past relationships, if you are no longer with a person or with the person you love. Ask yourself, do a live review of that relationship and be aware of your behaviors. If you were controlling, manipulative, if you have fear of something and you were projecting them, if you what were you giving in the relationship, and were you open to receive, or you were putting conditions on the relationship. So ask yourself honestly, so you can see what do you need to heal, so you can approach to that person again, so you can have a second change. I think what you told me through Instagram, I think you told me through Instagram that you wanted to get back with the person you love, that you are no longer together, but you want to get back with him. So my advice is to do that, to actually ask yourself and do a review of what do you have to change, what do you have to put the light on, so you can see what is separating you from him. It is not a thing of blaming him or saying, well, but he did that, or he is like that. If you don't accept him as he is, it is going to be very difficult to get back together. So I am not telling you to accept, like a person who abuses you, or who is violent with you. You shouldn't accept that. But you are the only one who can establish your own limits. So there's a part on the workbook that you have to write your limits. So do all these exercises. Ask yourself what you truly want. Ask yourself what your fears are. Ask yourself what your behaviors are. And also ask yourself what your limits are in a relationship. And after you do that, be conscious and aware if it's true that is the relationship that you want. Is that what you want, to get back with him? And if it's what you want, I advise you to heal those parts of you that are separating you from him. And as a healed woman with another perception about love, about what a relationship is, and with total acceptance of yourself and of him, you approach him again and try to give yourself a second chance. So there is another thing in the workbook that is actually about writing your soulmate guardian angel a letter. And if it's not your soulmate, if the person you want to be with, you can do it that way. You can write a letter to the guardian angel of your loved one, of the person you want to be with, and to actually ask in that letter to be to connect your soul with his soul. Actually write a open-hearted letter and tell the guardian angel of your loved one what you want from him, that you want to connect again with him, that you want him back, and how is the relationship going to be different and going to be better. So another thing I want to show you is something I do for manifesting love in my life or a relationship, and these are the manifestation boxes. You can use a box you have in your house. I actually do these boxes. I sell these boxes on my website. You can get them on my website. They are personalized boxes for manifestation, and they have, like here, as you can see, they have, okay, in the manifestation boxes, if you decide to do one today, and tomorrow is a good day because we are in new moon and it is the perfect time for manifesting. So if you can write the letter and you can do all the exercises from the workbook, and also do the manifestation box, you can actually have better results, because now we are in an energetic door open, and the communication with the spiritual world is now like, you know, better. So in the manifestation boxes, we actually put things like crystals. I use pink quartz, and I also use rhodochrosite. Is the healing heart stone. Is a very powerful stone with a beautiful energy. So first of all, if you buy stones, you have to clean the stones. You can put it under water, or you can clean it with a sage. You can light up a sage or a palo santo and clean up the crystals. Then you have to give the crystal an intention, every crystal, and you can put it on the daylight, on the moonlight, for the crystal to charge. So in the manifestation boxes, you actually write down in papers everything that you want, in affirmations and in present moment. In present sense, it's like, I am happy in my relationship with that person. I feel grateful because I have the family I wanted with that person. So, or I have the family I want with that person. So everything present in the present moment, and positive affirmations. So you can write everything that you want and put it on the box. You can also put like pictures of yourself, of the other person, of your loved one, and pictures of, I have pictures of angels, pictures of the Virgin Mary and God, and I have feathers because I receive a lot of message from the divine realm through feathers. And you can also put something with like rose essence, rose perfume. In this, that the rose perfume just vibrates on a higher energy, so it is good. And you can put like special things. If you have something special from that person, you can put it in your manifestation boxes, and you can meditate with it whenever you want. You just hold the box or hold the crystals and just visualize yourself being so happy, being fulfilled, being joyful, and having the relationship that you dream of, that you desire with that person. That way you start to feeling that happiness, that joyfulness, and you start to emanate that energy, so you attract faster what you want. So that is another ritual I have. So I think this is it. I may have like a going to try to have a divine message for you, and I wish you could be like here personally, and so I can hear your your opinion, your experiences, and your purpose for taking this class. But I hope this is very helpful for you. So give me a moment, and I will like ask for divine guidance for you. So what I am receiving here is very good news for you, and is to be patient and have patience, and actually act with like your actions and your thoughts match your integrity, that is what we were talking about all this time. To, integrity is when your actions, your words, and your thoughts match your heart desires. So that is why you have to be clear, crystal clear on what you want, and everything you do match that desire, And I am also seeing, like, I don't know if you believe in God, I don't know if you believe in archangels. There is Archangel Michael looking out for you, and you can pray to him if you want, if you believe in so. And I am seeing harmony in your relationship, so I am very, very grateful for this moment with you. I hope this is helpful for you, and that you can actually get what your heart desires. So I send you a lot of blessing. Please just write back to me and tell me how things are going. So thank you very, very much. God bless you.